Good morning and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the lands of the Paramount people and acknowledge their spiritual connection to these lands. And I'd also like to just tell you a little story about the Paramount people. The Paramount people were the givers of fire. Nations came to Mount Barker, to the Paramount people, because they were the people who had the flint and the sulphur. So this district is a gift-giving district, so I thank the Paramount people for that tradition. It's so good to be here, and I'd like to welcome Minister Gail Gago. She is our Minister for Regional Development Australia and Women's Affairs and Tourism, which this is all interwoven. Miss Isabel Redman, she's the Member of Opposition, and it's also great to have her because this is her stamping ground, this is where she lives. Dr. Li Yanling, it is absolutely fantastic to have you here, all the way from Shanghai. We also have 5 of her other delegations here, which is a real true feat. To have 6 women come from Shanghai to downtown Mount Barker via Sydney and Melbourne is absolutely amazing. And we do appreciate the effort that you've put into coming here. Mayor Graham Phelps from the City of Victor Harbor, Deputy Mayor Anne Wolford from Alexandrina Council, Councillor Lynn Stokes from the Mount Barker Council, Catherine Stanley Murray from Alexandrina Council, Pat Shigmanen from Victor Harbor Council. It is great to see local government represented here today. I'd also like to say thank you to Weaving Connections, Mr Barry Featherston, CEO of RDA, Adelaide Hills, Fleurieu and Kangaroo Island, Heather Webster, Chair of Weaving Connections Organising Committee, and it has been an absolute amazing journey to get you here. This is our second women's convention that we've had, so thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. The committee is Sylvie Clark, she's of RDA, Sarah Hanna from Westpac, Sarah Nankerville from RDA, and Miss Connie Berg for being the event coordinator, and it has been a real effort on her behalf. Thank you also must go to the generous sponsors, RDA, Adelaide Hills, Fleurieu and Kangaroo Island, Westpac, WorkSkill, the Wallace Ockendorrick House, which is this beautiful building we're in, and it's a very historic building, the Lane Vineyard, Shaw and Smith, Harndorf Hill Winery, and Duncan Bashir Hannon. As Mayor, local government has been something that has been my passion. As a young child on Kangaroo Island, we didn't have service clubs on Kangaroo Island, so there was always somebody in the family that was in local government. So I always knew that I would be somewhere in my life in local government, and here I am. It's amazing. But it is such a privilege and such an honour to be able to hold a position like this where you are touched by so many lives that pass through your journey. And it really is. And when I look around this room and see such wonderful people who make our region such a rich and vibrant place, I am surely humbled. As Chair of Regional Development Australia, which is not something that I ever thought I'd ever be part of, but I had that phone call from Canberra some couple of years ago from Maxine McHugh and said, you will be the chair. And I said, oh, no, I won't. And she said, oh, yes, you will. And I said, no, I won't. And she hung up on me. So here I am. But I must say I have the most amazing team that I work with. Barry and his team are just so supportive, and they are so dedicated to your region. And because I work with such a fantastic team, my job is such a blessed job that I have. The committee members of Weaving Connection, the organising committee, they've had a huge energy. They have just believed in women in leadership, and they have wanted to lift that leader in women to the highest possible point that we can as a Regional Development Australia, to actually mentor women, to step up. And we've done that through our breakfasts, and Heather has done it on one-on-one mentoring. So the journey to this stage where we are today has been quite some journey. And hopefully we will lead the way for other women and get younger women as part of our leadership. And now, let's get started. It is my pleasure to introduce the Honourable Gail Gago, Minister for Agriculture, Food and Fisheries, Minister of Forests, Minister of Regional Development, Minister of Tourism, but most of all, Minister of the Status of Women. Come on, Gail.